Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Books Block, the series where I bring my fantasy novel to life in Minecraft, one block at a time. Today's episode, we're continuing on in these backstreet shops. I've added a little bit more detail, and today we're going to do more of the interiors, as well as finishing off most of the roofing. So let's get to it. So I've changed the time to very early morning just to get a little bit more of a feel for this area. I want it to feel kind of like dark and dank in these kind of like sketchy back kind of shops. So in one of the first things I added was this kind of mossy fountain. It's kind of like a landmark of this area to show you're entering this kind of back alley shopping area with all the mold and moss growing this not well kept. If I could, I would kind of only have it less water, but right now there's not really a way of doing that. Maybe I can figure out a way of doing it later, maybe using the entities or something instead. But if we make our way in here, we've got our first little shop. It's kind of like a pop-up shop, just like kind of tacked onto the side of this one. This owner probably doesn't enjoy having them here, probably kind of sends off business, but it's kind of like a bone trinket shop. So this guy, he goes, he buys the bones from maybe the hunter from the woods, and he makes little trinkets. I've only got the one so far. I just put a little bit of a copper nugget on a bone. I'll have to think of other ways of doing them. Maybe make like some necklaces out of bones and little bits of copper or something like that. I got ideas to come through with that. I kind of built it with a bit of carpet on the top, using these different chains of different oxidation levels, different wall, and then going in with these shelving again. So if we come over here, I haven't gotten to this one yet, but we've got a weapon shop, a tool shop. These ones, they're not interior finish, it's just kind of planning out what I want in what area. Then we have a maps shop and a light armor shop. Something that I added were these kind of display windows. So we get the light armor, so it's kind of leather work. So I got a couple different ones on display. And if we come over to here, we got the map shop. So you can see on the outside, we got a little bit map. We can actually head in. This is one of the ones I've actually finished the interior for. So I've made a couple little ink pots from using the display. So it's some glass, a bit of concrete, dry, not the wet concrete, the concrete powder. Then a little bit of like ink quills on them. Little sign. Got a bigger map on the back, so that'd be like the more expensive one of the whole city. You can sell like the 5 silver or something. Just put a random denomination of the money currency. Just a bunch of maps. These ones aren't actually too interesting. Can't even grab them. But they're just one of these ones copied over. Got a stack of paper in the back. Then you can kind of squeeze around here to this larger map that's being on show for the alleyway. So if we keep continuing on, I've got now the heavy armor, so the like chainmail and iron. Don't know if I'll do like gold, diamond, netherite because it doesn't feel like realistic for a fantasy thing. Maybe I'll come up with like adding different colors and things, but I think this works well for the heavy armor shop. I've got this one, which is going to be a slightly larger one. Not sure what to fit in here. Still haven't figured out what I want to do for this back wall, if I want to push it out and kind of square it off or keep it at a weird angle. If we continue on, in the story, we come across this kind of like homeless beggar. So I've used a bit of carpet, kind of draped over him as like a cloak. It's not the best, but it just gets the idea. And this is the guy, the main character comes, first he asks help from this guy, the bone trinket guy. He's of no help. But this guy, he says, the place you seek is on Blackstone Alley. Its name is the Broken Quill. So I haven't really done the interiors for these guys yet. I might get them for the rest of this episode, but let's follow along and get the story. So we got the sign here, the Blackstone Alley. So you come down here, you pass the heavy armorer, and you find the Broken Quill. It is found by the red door. Most other doors are just the regular dark oak. But if we come to this one, it's the Broken Quill, the red door. So you come in, it's kind of like a little bookstore, kind of very tight, lots of books around. He's come here, he's got his books stacked up and his quill ready for all his writing of books. And there would be a shopkeep here, very kind of mysterious guy, and he gives a bit of instruction. So I think it's this book first. Oh, nope, don't want to do that. I want to turn that off. I want to grab this out. No, that's the riddle. So it's this one I wanted. So I'll put that back in. So it's just little excerpts from my book of what this guy would say to the main character as he enters, and the clue is to look at this map. So he kind of comes in here, takes a look, and it is the fire path on the outskirts of the city. Right now still have the kind of colorful lines. This will be where the Forge district will be, so that'll change when I do that. But it tells him to head to the secret shrine. So after he goes here, he leaves and he heads down the lava path to go to the secret shrine I built a couple episodes ago. Now looking at seeing a little bit more of these roofs. So I'm going for a very similar style of all of them. Some of them I just have one left and it's this kind of messy one. So I don't know how I'm going to do it. Like the front is slightly different because it's not the kind of peaked area I've done with the copper on all of them. It's harder to get it because of the angle it is on. So I've got to figure out how I want to do that. I've gotten all the second floors ready. Nothing on them, like the most well done one would be, I guess, the broken quill, because this is the first one I built. Find the staircase, so this is kind of where they will live. So I've got a couple windows, and then a couple of them have specialty things. I think it's this one. I haven't built the stairs, but if we pop up here, we got little kind of pathways over, little bridges to get mix between the two stores. So maybe they've got like a partnership between them. And then in the story, the main character, he gets the knowledge to head along these I think this one's the first one. So paths are carved by fire. Fire flows to its home. Follow its course, and you may you may find what you seek. So he figures out that means you gotta follow the lava path. He goes, and then this one, tread lightly, fire. That's wrong. Fire reveals and consumes in equal measure. So this is how he figures out, we fly down here real quick, that he has to use the crystals in order to get across here. So if I grab are they called crystals? No, they're not. The shard, I think they're called. Yeah, so amethyst shards. So it tells him to do this because it consumes, and then not that one, and it reveals. So it consumes and reveals in equals amounts. So you give something and it gives something back. So if we head back to the city now, after he gets his special weapon and completes that trial, he comes back. I've included another path connecting up to my warehouse district, kind of using these slabs to get a nice incline so you never have to jump in the city. So he comes back up, comes through the back alleys. I've got lots more shops to figure out. And on note of that, if you think of anything that could like come into these back alleys, it's not like a very high-end shop but it's not like a market like what I have over on this side. So they're not like kind of pop-up markets. They're more like solid shops that have been here for a while, but they're kind of like sketchy back alley ones. They're not like these super fancy get the best things or like the tools. It'll probably be like secondhand tools and weapons and things like that. But once he comes back to the broken quill to get more answers from the bookkeep or the owner, he finds just the wall. So this sign wouldn't be here because this guy, he's got some magical touch that he's running from the guards in the city, and he kind of has his magical shop that hides him from anything that's kind of searching for him. Now, out here in my redstone testing area, I'll kind of explain what you just saw. So this is what is called a semi-hipster 1x2 door. Not sure where the name comes from, couldn't find out what. But I found a couple tutorials online, but they weren't tutorials, they were just kind of like showing off what they built. And I didn't know how to build it, so I kind of recreated it by eye. Problem with like observers, you don't know which way it's facing. They look identical. Yeah, if you look at it, it looks identical no matter which way you place it, even though they're back and forth. So I kind of reconstructed it, played around, and this is how I got it. So you press this button here, and you can see it places these two up, and when you press it again, it hides them back down. So what I did is I came over here, let's slow down, and I just replaced it. So if you go like this, it goes up, and comes back down. So it's these two blocks here, like that, and then you can have a nice little path here, and when you push them up, it's easier to see. So I want to have it either side like this, and it comes back down, allowing you through. You can have another button on the other side, and it'll close it behind you, and you can have your interior. So you got a nice 1x2 path, all underground, so it's flush with the ground. You just have to make sure you cover everything up, but you can't cover this guy up because it is like a pulsing. These two are facing each other, constantly setting each other off. So what you want to do is just cover it like this, and you got your door. Alright, even though I'm not much of a redstone person, I'm going to do a quick demo just in case you want to build one of these 1x2 doors. So I've got my building block for redstone. I like to use concrete. We're going to do a dropper, and then we're going to do 2 observers facing into it. So we got the arrows like this. We then have another dropper facing up with a hopper going into it, so shift click that down. You're then going to put an item into that dropper. We're going to grab a comparator facing out into 2 pistons, sticky pistons facing on top of each other. You then want a observer facing up. We're going to take a block, and then we're going to build this up real quick. We can remove this one and this one. Actually, we're going to want this one so that we can do our sticky piston and then our observer facing down. And we got a block empty right here. We're then going to go for these guys, so we want to try and aim down. Oh, whoops. And then one up, so the faces are facing each other and the arrows are going different directions. Next, we're going to get 2 more observers, place them on top like this. Sticky piston over here, your door blocks, and then 1 block right here. And then if you toss your button here, up, and down. Alright, and now we're back into our back alley shopping district. There's one more thing that I'm going to have to build pretty soon. So if we'll back open up in here, I've left myself a reminder. He came here after he goes to the library, so I'm going to have to build the library pretty soon. I think that's the one up here, maybe? Did I leave signs? No, that's the temple. I don't know where the library is, or if I even planned one, so maybe that's something I can do pretty soon. So in the story, he comes here, no, I do have the small library over here, so maybe it's that one, or maybe I get a bigger one up here, where he goes and he tries to find information about curses and things like that. And once they say you can't find it in a nice library like the official one, someone like kind of maybe mentions to him, maybe try the back alleys. They'll have something that you're looking for. And that's why he comes to here. So I'm definitely going to have to build up the libraries pretty soon. And whilst looking at this wall, I'm definitely going to have to work on this because I do like it how it's kind of rough, but it might be a little bit too many missing blocks, like missing underneath. So I'll have to work on the terrain a little bit too. Alright, so here we've got all the roofs finished. Still not the biggest fan. I kind of brought these up in an attempt to kind of replicate all my pointy roofs. I'll probably play around with a couple different types, maybe bring this up a little bit further all along, but I gotta spend time on other things. So I've got a decent patch of it done, but now let's do our final walkthrough. So we enter our market late at night. We pass by our bone trinket salesman. We've got our tool shop, so I got some tools hanging in the window. We head on in here. We don't need that one there. We got some tools in buckets. A couple on the counter. Maybe they're getting ready to pay. And then I kind of have like this back room that's inaccessible. So I got like these curtains made from the banners. And just to fill in the gaps in between, I added a bit of just this cyan terracotta just because it works with the color. Can't actually get back here, but I might add like a back room that's actually got like stuff where they're making or prepping all the tools and stuff. We got the weapons. I haven't gone in there yet. We've got our maps, which I showed earlier. That's placing way too quickly. Let's turn that off. So I showed you guys this earlier. We got the light armor. So I put a little bit of wall behind just to make it feel a little bit more cozy. Don't have all the details in it quite yet, but added a bit of lighting. This one's still nothing. Got our heavy armor. We got our beggar over here. The new update that I added was back here. So this is going to be the gem cutter. Come into here, just added a little bit more. Got a little case of different types of gems. Got one that he's kind of sharpening or cutting to the right specs and things like that. but this is the kind of finished of what I want it to be. I kind of want to do just store fronts instead of doing like a bunch of dedicated interiors. So what I might do is just block these off, have them as fake doors, because the point of this area is only to get to the broken quill, talk to this guy. The rest of these are just little bits of art on the side, just to make it feel a little bit more full. So I might add a bit more signage, name a couple more of these. I should close this up. And back here on the fountain, you might have seen at the start of this little walkthrough, I started getting together a couple more kind of store ideas. So I've gotten the gem cutter, so maybe like something like creeper drops, creature, not creeper. So like kind of like the bigger form of the bones, maybe some meat and stuff from like the forest, a spice shop where they import different spices, maybe a little alchemist and things like that. So if you guys have any good ideas for shops that might fit back here, let me know down in the comments. I've got a couple where they're like sharing a little bridge between. I've got one here and I think another one over here. So if you have maybe two that would like fit together nicely, maybe add those in and just let me know what you guys think might be a good idea for this kind of area. But this is pretty much done for this district. Just a couple little bit of details later on that I can kind of add together. You can see I've added a back wall here. I might make it a little bit more detailed instead of just a flat wall, maybe add some windows, some more of those kind of balconies that I've got on the front little bits here, like these little extruded little window bits. But I think that's it for today's episode. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like and subscribe for more episodes coming soon. Until next time.